It's not likely the phone's going to be ringing off the hook, is it, anyway?
You wanted to know what you got planned?
Well, big surprise.
I'm sure this used to be a respectable neighbourhood.
Oh, come on. This has never been a respectable neighbourhood.
All right, you. Go on, I'll see you later.
All right, I'll let you two talk about football and building sites who won't kiss you.
Oh. I'm guessing he's none the wiser.
Not a Scooby, mate. Not a Scooby.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 401 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast. I can't help but wonder if Theo's divorce has come through yet. No reason why. Just curious. I'm Gavin.
And I have a pinched nerve.
You have a pensioner's what?
I have a pinched nerve in my back.
Oh, fun.
It keeps making my right leg be in a lot of pain and then go numb, completely numb.
Oh.
And my doctor said, just put heat on it and do some exercise and stretches, and it should get better.
You need something else to
Right,
be wrong
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, yeah, it only really starts to act up on me when I have to sit cross-legged. And he's like, well, don't sit cross-legged. And I was like, well, if I have to sit on the floor, I have to kind of sit cross-legged. And I actually have to sit on the floor quite a lot because I keep trying to find this tablecloth I've sold. And when I'm looking for it, I sit down on the floor to look through the bins. So I can't just not sit on the floor.
Can you sit on something else?
I can sit on that ass.
Well, I'm presuming that you're sitting on that ass anyway.
No, not this one, that one.
You can't sit on mine, I'm using it.
Aw, it's so much bigger than mine, though.
Maybe explain why you were kicking fuck at me in bed last night. Or maybe it's partly the reason.
Probably. Hey, remember that time, I punched you in the face while I was asleep?
I think that you've done that more than once.
I've done it once.
You've hit me in the head before, but you've punched me in the head once.
Yeah, I punched you.
You kind of hit me with the heel of your hand on the back of my head before.
Yeah, but that's typically to stop you from snoring.
Oh. Because I'm kind of awake when you're doing it.
Right, because it, annoys you enough to make you turn over.
Mm.
But I apologize for the kicking. Because it would be that leg, wouldn't it?
I have no idea which leg it was.
It'd be hard for me.
I didn't mark it.
It would be hard for me to kick you with my left leg.
Would it?
Unless I was sleeping on my right. But it's painful to sleep on my right. Anyway, I'm sure everyone is very fascinated by all of this.
I am less certain of that. How's your week been?
Yeah, apart from the pinched nerve, it's been fine. It's been really busy, but it's been fun because I've located some fun old political paraphernalia from my boss's aunt. So I've been having fun putting that in the auction lately.
Oh, very good. Oh, sorry. Auction talk.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to get complaints about auction talk. I was listening to this Coronation Street podcast and they fucking talk about auctions. Mm-hmm.
And yet we also get people who miss auction talk and who loved auction talk.
One person.
There was more than one. Anyway, yeah, they were, very involved in the Democratic Party back in the day. So his aunt and uncle. And it's funny because when I worked at the other place, he had consigned some of it to the other place while I was working there. So it's funny to see some stuff that I kind of recognized from the other place while working at this place.
It's a small world, right enough.
It is. It is a really small world. So yeah, some nice Obama posters, some nice Carter posters, and then some random Michigan politicians from over the years that I have no idea who they are, but their signs are fun. So that's been fun to work on. Yeah, it's been a fun week. It seems like it's starting to warm up here in our little
It
corner
was
of the world.
fucking freezing this morning.
Yeah, but it was gorgeous yesterday.
Yeah, I guess we'll take that.
Yes. How are you? You've been sick. You've been poorly.
A wee bit poorly. I went and saw my friend Steve for lunch yesterday, and he gifted me.
He gifted you what?
He gifted me this
What is that?
from
Are they
Costco.
beans?
Heinz baked beans. And I said, you can get these in the supermarket.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, but they're like $5-6 a tin. I was like, this is true. You got these in Costco.
For how much?
There's a whole pallet of them. He wouldn't say, but not $5. So I think he probably paid $5 for 6 tins.
Well, and now I'm glad to know that he has a Costco membership because
Once they're gone, apparently. So I'm keeping these hidden.
right, yeah, hide them from Benny because Benny loves those.
Loves
He
baked
eats
beans.
a
And I
can.
can't
He eats a can by himself.
and I can't grumble about it because it's because of me that he loves them.
Right.
I like to use them for things.
Right.
And then I go to the cupboard and they're gone because he's fucking eating them all.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
It could be worse. He could be an alcoholic.
surely there's some wiggle room in between those two extremes of eating all my fucking baked beans and being a raging alky. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that
Gaseous.
gaseous. There we go. Gaseous Corrie News.
Choosing the cobbles over cruises, Catherine Tilsley is stepping away from her role on the Good Ship Murder in order to focus on Corrie. So I thought that this show was already over.
Yeah,
But apparently they're going into series 4 and she's like, nah.
she was finishing off her commitment to the show. I think
Right.
the last time
Yeah.
this came up in Corrie News.
Right, yeah. And she has decided she's
This developing story.
not going back. So, which is
Never
fine.
watched it, so
No. And I think it would be because she's got brown hair in that show. So
brown hair.
it must, unless there are a lot of wigs involved in one or both shows. I imagine that's got to be murder on your hair to like go a number of months with one color and then a number of months with another color. And then
Don't people do that all the time?
do they?
I think so.
I mean, our pastor does, but that's different. She goes from like pink to purple to brown to multicolored.
How's that different?
I don't know.
Because it sounds exactly the same.
Because it's only like half of her hair. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Hallelujah! Danielle is finally coming back as,
Oh, yes.
as
Slag!
Natalie Henderson confirmed she's back on the set as Theo's storyline winds down.
Of course, I'm not insinuating that she's a slag.
Mwahaha.
Brilliant. Because
Yes.
we've been complaining that there's been no Danielle for ages, since Christmas,
Right.
really.
Yeah, and that Theo is supposed to get his kids every other week. Legally. They're obligated to show up, and they haven't showed up in months.
Now, as I pointed out in my introduction, I don't think we've seen hide nor hair of a divorce for Theo.
I thought the divorce was finalized.
I don't think that was ever mentioned.
You'd think that if the divorce hadn't gone through, then when Todd proposed to Theo, Theo would have brought it up. So I think the divorce did go through. Divorces take a long time over there, though, don't
They
they?
do take some time to go through. And I don't think Swain and Becky's divorce has come through either.
Well, did they have to get divorced since Becky has been declared dead?
I think so, if she's not really dead.
Yeah, but don't they have to go to court and declare her undead? Or something? I don't know.
I think you need George Romero to help you do that.
And unfortunately, he is in fact dead.
Ah,
So
damn it.
maybe we'll have to get Sam Raimi. And finally, get well wishes to our beloved Millie Gibson, who underwent emergency surgery for appendicitis.
Oh, no.
Yes. She's like, I started getting severe stomach pains, so I went to the A&E, and they discovered that I had appendicitis and removed my appendix. So she said, listen to your bodies, people.
She seems very young to have emergency surgery.
Yeah, but, you don't want to fuck with an appendix. If it's bursting, you need to get that sucker out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came very close to getting my appendix removed. I remember the doctor came to the house. That's how urgent it was. Like at 2:00 in the morning. And when he told me to stand up, let's go to the hospital.
Uh-huh.
And I stood up, and rather than holding my front, I held my back.
Uh-huh.
I said, oh,
That's
maybe
not
it's maybe it's a kidney infection.
stone, yeah.
So it was a kidney infection that I had.
Yeah.
That's my story about appendicitis. It needs something extra. I'm aware of that.
Why have I never heard about this before?
Because it's a really boring story. I think I've just proved.
After all my complainings about my kidneys. And that's Corrie News.
Yeah, I had a kidney infection once. It went away. That's the Cliff Notes version of it.
Did you drink lots of water and take some antibiotics?
Took antibiotics, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't specifically remember how much water I drank. Anyway, we'll move on
Yes.
from the good ship Corrie News
Yes.
to the cabana that is the feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic.
Physical mail!
Physical mail!
It's physical mail.
Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail.
It's physical mail.
When it comes, I
Are
want to
those,
yell.
are those your lyrics?
Mail! No, it's from Blue's Clues.
Oh, it's a shame because we could have done something with that. I went to the post office again this week.
You did?
And once again, I had to go through the same rigmarole
Yes.
of explaining why I'm asking them to go and check my P.O. box for me.
Yes. Well, this is, I think, one of the coolest postcards I have ever seen. No offense to the Oregon-shaped postcard from last week, which is still pretty cool.
Was that last week or the week before?
That was last week.
Was it?
Yeah. Dear Gav and Hell.
That's us.
Well,
Your
that's
Hell's Bells.
That's you. And half of me. 3/4 of me. 3/4 of me?
3/5.
Okay. We're spring cleaning and found this badge postcard from the mission with the first Saudi astronaut.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
I thought that was actually a Star Trek postcard. It's not.
It's not. See? Axiom space. Of course,
I don't know what that means.
see there's the pi symbol and there's the DNA. And I don't know what I think this is supposed to be a paintbrush and this is a gear. And I guess that's supposed to be maybe an engine. Anyway, and there's the American flag and there's the Saudi flag.
Oh, I see the Saudi flag, yes.
Yes. It's okay that you made that assumption because if you've seen the U.S. Space Force symbol, it does quite resemble the symbol for
That's what it put
the
me in
United
mind
Federation of Planets. Sally, for some reason, has a Space Force bag. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to recruit her. Anyway, why is Theo still in the show?
of. Contract.
Ending
A
soon.
cast iron contract.
Ending soon. Best VB Mohammed.
Oh, thank you very much, Mohammed.
Mohammed also includes a please add your address to about or contact on our website.
That's a good idea.
It is. We should do that.
And it's shameful that I haven't done that already.
I know. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
Thank you very much, Mohammed. That's a lovely postcard.
Yes, it's also got a very lovely Ramadan stamp.
I can't remember the last time we bought a stamp.
Ramadan Mubarak to you, Mohammed.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
Well, Shema writes, hello.
Hi!
Point of order, Manchester does have a marathon. It's on Sunday, 19th of April this year, and my husband's doing it.
Woohoo!
It's not in Weatherfield, though. It's in
Boo.
central Manchester. You are correct as well that people training for a marathon don't tend to run the full distance before the marathon itself. My husband is just, with air quotes, just going up to 22 miles. That's still pretty bloody impressive.
Yeah.
Good luck
Yeah.
to Welsh Emma's husband in the upcoming Manchester Marathon.
I think I've walked about 20 miles in one day before, but never run 20 miles. Or 22.
It's a lot of walking.
Because we did a hike in Girl Scouts that was 10 miles one way and then 10 miles back.
Yeah, it's 20 miles.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with your arithmetic there.
Thank you.
And Cheeky writes, the only thing I really have to say about this week is that I'm glad that all the different characters on the street are coming to their senses about Theo. Additionally, if it's possible, and in that person's ability, every best friend who is fully aware of a domestic violence situation should have an escape plan for their friend and a way to move forward in the very kind way that George does.
Yes.
Yeah, George was a little bit of a hero this week.
Yes.
Thank you very much to Cheeky, to Welsh Emma, to Mohammed for their correspondence this week. Very much appreciated. Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. I will love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee. We're drinking our own coffees this week. And I'm drinking my lovely peace tea.
Yes, which you've just cracked open.
I have.
I'm drinking my pink grapefruit juice out of a wine glass because there were no clean,
Because you're fancy.
regular glasses.
With your pinky out.
Every time I think, you know what? I think it's time to get rid of these wine glasses. That's when I realize that sometimes I need them.
Those ones, yeah, they take up an awful lot of space. And
But
they don't
they're-
hold an awful lot of liquid
But they're pretty. And we use them for sparkling grape juice on Thanksgiving.
when we're super fancy.
Yes.
The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on YouTube. But if you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, head over to corriepodcast.com, click on Support the Pod, and then Friend of the Podcast. For $2 a month, you can get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. For April, we're going to be talking about episodes 2304 and 2305.
What? 2 episodes?
It's a double dunter.
I don't think I can handle that much.
It's a double bill from March 2nd and 4th, 1983.
Woo!
Bet and Betty in a lake. And if that wasn't enough, you can also get access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every podcast, your name on the credits of the flagship show, and our reenactment of your one-act play. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. Remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. And all these links and our address will be in the description of this episode. There you go. Can't say fairer than that.
Yes.
All right, shall we preamble, my dear?
Y'all's please.
No, we've just finished preambling. Okay, back we go at the start. Give us some of that repetitive Corrie news.
No, thank you.
Are you ready to dive in, my
Yeah,
dear?
y'all's
Is that
please.
what I say?
Yes, it
Shall
is
we
what you-
dive in, my dear?
Y'all's please.
Yeah.
And I say y'all's please. I don't know why I say y'all's please.
I'm not sure either.
But I do it. I've done it for every episode.
401 episodes.
401 episodes.
For the 401th time. This is a short week. There's only 4 episodes this week.
Yeah.
So we will start with the second storyline this week, which is Meet the Driscolls.
Beat the Driscolls.
On Monday, Will's trying to call Megan on his burner phone, but she ain't answering. He leaves a message hoping that she's okay and tells her that he loves her. Meanwhile, Sam is worried about going to school, but Nick tells him not to sweat it. If he knows kids, and he does, they'll be ripping the piss out of Will instead. It's family meeting time for the Driscolls, which means lots of shouting. Ben calls it to order, and the first item of business is Megan being up the duff and refusing to get a DNA test. Will says it's not his, and he doesn't blame her because it's nobody's business but hers. Maggie wonders why he's sticking up for the fucking witch, and I assume she's not talking about herself. So Will stomps off in a huff. Ollie, who's the ideas man of the Driscoll family, I think, reckons that speaking to a counsellor might be worth a shot to get him to open up. At school, Hope is pleased to see Sam as she's worked out that his bully was Megan. She leaves as Daniel arrives. Daniel has already apologised to Adam, and now he apologises to Sam for not believing him. Sam's chill about it. Daniel says if he needs anything, you come to me. Yeah, right, says Sam. Later, Ben's on the phone to Will's mum and seems surprised that she's upset at the news that her son has been groomed by a paedophile. Ben hangs up on her and then breaks down, blaming himself for all this.
This whole family's just... The red flags were there. Then again, there's another family on this show where the red flags were all over the place waving in front of their faces. And yet it's taken this long. So, who knows?
On Tuesday, Will is against going to see a counsellor, but Ben is very keen that he does, so he coaxes him into it by saying he only needs to try it once. If it isn't for him, he doesn't need to go back. Much like eating Brussels sprouts. So Will agrees.
Well, those do come back on you.
Yeah, we were talking about gaseous, weren't we?
Yes, you were.
Meanwhile, at school in the busy hallway, Daniel approaches Sam and starts talking to him in public about how the police don't have enough evidence to charge Megan, and if there's anything else he needs to tell the police, he should do that. He should be absolutely honest. He should tell the police everything that he knows. Sam's like, no, I'm okay, thanks. And then Daniel seems to offer to sweeten the deal by offering one-on-one tuition on the classes that he's missed. He's not the most self-aware man in the world, is Daniel, is he?
No. But we knew that.
But when you see it in action for a teacher in school, in a busy hallway, to be approaching Sam and talking fairly loudly
Yes.
about
and
police
closely.
investigations and all that
Yes.
sort of stuff.
Yeah. The man's not very self-aware, but he's never been self-aware. That's what makes him fun.
Oh, jeez.
Fun to mock.
When Daniel goes, hope is over like a shot and reckons that Daniel and Megan are in on this together, and he's probably fishing for information that he'll feed back to her. She advises that he keeps his mouth shut. Not that he has anything else to tell anyway.
Right.
Later, the counselling was a waste of time, as it sounded like the counsellor only wanted to talk about rugby with Will. Kit arrives at the pub and tells Ben and Eva that the forensic results of the phones have come back and there was nothing untoward in them, although there was lots of communication. Kit suggests that maybe they were using burner phones, which Ben reckons is very likely, and Will is in the room hearing all of this
Right.
and storms off in a huff again.
Yeah.
After school, Sam drops his phone outside the tram station and Daniel's on hand to pick it up, and he seems to finger the phone quite a bit before passing it back,
Yikes.
apologising if he came on too strong earlier, and wishes Sam a good evening. Sam looks at his phone and then throws it in the bin. Like, what the fuck is he doing?
He throws his phone in the bin.
Just plunks it into the bin and away he goes.
I am very concerned. I am very concerned that they are going to be making a turn in this storyline.
Oh, they've already done it, I think.
Yeah. We'll talk about it when we're done here.
We will.
Yeah, towards the end, because I am
Stick a little pin in this.
an Andrew Tate-sized pin in this.
With no chin. Where did his chin go?
He swallowed it.
I had to watch that back like 2 or 3 times to make sure that that was the phone that he dropped. Mm-hmm. That was the phone that he picked up, that Daniel picked up. Mm-hmm. And that was the phone that Daniel handed him back. Mm-hmm. And that was the phone that Sam put in the garbage.
Right.
So it's like, there's no way that's his phone that he's just done that. Was that Megan's phone that he had or something like that? But no,
No, that was his
it
phone.
was his phone. Back in the back room at the Rovers, Will is calling Megan on his burner phone and leaving another message. And he hangs up just as Susie comes in, and she must twig that he was on the phone to someone.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to become important because they end up chatting about, oh, was that a girl, and has she upset you, and all this sort of stuff. And it was actually quite a sweet scene.
It was,
of-
except of course when it's so sweet, and then you remember that the girl that they're talking about is a woman who has been grooming Will. Mm-hmm. But he is very sweet with his little sister.
He is. And it's a good reminder.
That he's still just a kid.
Yes. In my attempts not to victim blame, which I think I've been reasonably unsuccessful at in the Todd and Theo storyline.
Yeah.
This is also one where I think caution has to be taken to not blaming Will too much.
Right. Even
Or
though
at all for this.
he's so obnoxious.
He's a really unlikable character. Is that separate from victim blaming? I think it might be. If you're
Yeah.
an asshole.
Yeah, but if the assholeness, if the behavior is related to the
Oh,
grooming.
yeah, I know.
Anyway, we'll see, after the storyline is over, if he starts to grow on us, then we'll know that we were indeed victim blaming.
Do you know, I can't see it happening. Anyway. Because he's too much like Simon.
we've grown to love Lauren eventually.
We've grown to not call her racist Kelly. That's what we've done. I don't know that I've grown to like her.
And
I've grown to tolerate her.
we've grown to like Brody. So, and we loved Mason, and we still miss him and want him to, rise from the dead. But, it might happen. Hey, remember we hated Ollie at first.
Yeah, because he was creepy.
And boring.
So very boring.
Which is a hard thing to do, to be creepy and also boring.
But now he's the ideas man of the
Right,
Driscoll
yeah.
family.
Yeah, now he seems to be the one voice of reason in that whole family.
Yeah, there's not much competition. That's for sure. On Wednesday, all he sees that Will has got his phone back from the police. And again, it's so, yeah, what I was thinking was going to happen with Susie seeing the phone, was she was going to say something to Eva about how's Will got a phone again.
Yeah.
Because his phone's supposedly with the police, although I think now it's been returned because that's what he says to Ollie, that he's got his phone back. And Ollie encourages him to phone his mother. And later after school, Will runs through the back complaining that people are taking the piss out of him. And I really would have liked to have seen some of that.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
People bullying them, basically. I'm victim blaming.
Ha ha, you slept with a teacher. Mm-hmm. Oh, how things change over time, because once upon a time that wouldn't have been a ha ha, that would have been a ha ha. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
As Tim will demonstrate.
Yes.
On Thursday, in the cabin, Sam and Hope are chatting, and Sam tells Hope that he suspects Daniel has put a tracker on his phone.
And so that's why he threw it
So
away.
he dumped it in a bin. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, that really was his phone.
Right, yeah.
She's surprised by this, but Sam
Yeah,
says,
because
why would you do that?
why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just take the tracker off your phone? Because he seems to imply that David put a tracker Yes. The way he's talking about it is that Daniel physically put a physical tracker on his phone.
Yeah, because he was
Right,
turning it over in his hands.
Yeah,
Not like he installed Lizzie's tramp tracker or anything.
Right, yeah. Yes, which is giving Daniel so much credit.
So, some microscopic tracker
On
that
like his fingers?
basically pedophiles have that they can put on devices or something.
I don't know. But yeah, obviously that did not actually happen.
No, but that's what Sam thinks has happened.
Yes. And also, continue.
Smart Sam thinks that this has happened.
Yeah.
She's surprised by this, but Sam says Megan is a clear and present danger and constant vigilance is required.
Oh, God.
Tyrone catches the end of this conversation and assumes it was Hope who was filling Sam's head with nonsense.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny the way he turns on her and says, "What did you do? What did you say?"
So later, when he sees Sam staring blankly into the window of the cabin from the street, he tells Sam not to take any notice of Hope. She's full of shite, basically. Mm-hmm. Constant vigilance, says Sam. Fair enough, says Tyrone, and he wanders away.
What are they doing to our beloved Sam? This is...
He's red pill.
Right, yes. They're red pilling this child, and of all of the children on the street who I believe could ever be red pilled, apart from Max, who is already red pilled and is now in prison for it, which does the show not remember that they've already red pilled a kid? Sam would be like on the bottom of that list. No offense to the other kids, but out of all of them, Sam is the one that I would say, no, Sam would never fall for that sort of shite.
I wouldn't imagine them taking drugs either.
Yeah.
And yet
the show's like, you know what? Let's do this.
we're supposed to think that this is what this story has pushed them to.
Right. Yeah. To believing conspiracy theories on the internet. Is he going to get a red hat next?
Make Corrie great again.
Is he going to start doing that? What's that thing called now? The looks maxing or whatever?
You're talking to the wrong person. I've no idea about any of this.
Oh, God. Well, you're the one who watched the Manosphere documentary. I still haven't watched it yet.
I don't think they mentioned anything about whatever you've just said.
Looks maxing?
Looks maxing?
Looks. Like your appearance, like maximizing your appearance for men. Because I
What
think...
does that involve?
I don't know.
If it's shaving, I'm not interested.
I think it goes beyond shaving.
Of washing my face?
But there was... because there was one of those guys that was on the Manosphere thing that was interviewed by another guy, and the looks maxing guy said, "What, are you happy with your appearance?" And like the middle-aged, normal-looking guy said, "Yeah, overall." And the looks maxing guy got really mad and stormed off because he's like, "How dare you?
How dare you be comfortable in your appearance?"
Yes. When you were just like a normal, boring-looking middle-aged man." It's like...
Yeah, I look like
Get
every
to
other
fuck.
boring, bald, middle-aged man. Late middle-aged man.
You're very handsome.
I wasn't fishing for that.
But still, when Sam said the constant vigilance thing,
Constant vigilance.
I'm like, what? What are they doing?
There's a t-shirt idea.
Constant vigilance. I'm London. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's 2 t-shirts I have to design this week.
There you go.
I would just like them to use these characters in a way that makes sense to the characters we have known and grown to love. You know, give one of the other kids a chance to be on the screen.
Red Pill Jake. We know nothing about him.
Which one's Jake again?
That's the one with the blonde hair.
Yeah, that would make sense. That kid is already halfway there because he's already homophobic.
Is he? Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah.
Remember when he was homophobic?
Mm-hmm.
And also when he was like taking money from Theo to pretend to give Todd Theo's phone that he supposedly found on the street.
And he was also trying to blackmail Lauren.
Right, yes. That's the kid you red pill, not Sam.
So Sam was a great choice for this character to have suspicions of what was going on between Will and Megan, because he's smart, he sees what's happening, he recognises what it is where nobody else was.
Except for Lauren, briefly.
And that was a great choice for his character.
Yeah.
The price that we're paying for him being the perfect character to realise this, it did make us have to assume that Will and Sam kind of got on with each other, which I can't see. But anyway,
no. Will was just pretending.
But
But
the price of that is now abusing ADHD drugs
Right.
and becoming a conspiracy theorist.
right, yes.
So he's a perfect character for this.
They couldn't
But in doing so, it changes him from that character to something completely different.
Right, yes, they couldn't figure out another way, a way that makes sense for something to happen to Sam to the point where he would admit to Leanne what he knows. The only way they could do that, according to them, is to make him addicted to ADHD drugs
Right.
so that he will pass out in the street. Why not just make him so worried that he stops eating and develops an eating disorder? That would at least make more sense. If he had like because he'd be nervous, he'd have a nervous tummy about the whole Megan stuff and also have a nervous tummy about schoolwork and everything.
I don't know that
Just
you can
give
sell.
him an eating disorder instead of the ADHD drugs.
I don't know that you generate an awful lot of interest by giving Sam a nervous tummy storyline.
Well,
But
it's an eating disorder, not a nervous tummy story.
But it would make far more sense that, given the situation that he's in, that he has that rather than. Why is he taking the ADHD drugs?
Right.
To help him study, because we knew nothing about his
already studies
concerns
well.
about studying until the Will and Megan stuff.
Right.
So, in my head, he's taking the ADHD drugs to block out the Will and Megan stuff,
Which
or to
doesn't
help
make-
him cope, which makes
doesn't
no
make
sense.
any sense.
No.
Yes, and also we are led to believe that because one time he doesn't turn something in, when in fact he had turned it in and Megan had just stolen it out of the pile.
Because
That-
it was
that-
hard copies only.
Right. That's enough to make him think that he's got bad grades. None of this makes any sense.
No, and now the world's flat.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. Now the world is flat and climate change is a myth.
Chemtrails.
Right, which is hilarious considering that Sam has been the only character on the street to give like a lengthy lecture in the bistro about climate change.
Yeah, that was a cracking episode.
That was.
So, meanwhile, Ben is drinking on the job and goes to the cab office to head into town, but Steve and Tim keep him at the cab office and they talk about dads trying to protect their kids and how it's impossible. And they share stories that I'm sure Faye and Amy in particular would rather that they didn't.
Right, yes. It's like, okay. Like Steve even says, now this doesn't go out from this room.
Yeah. And this affected me quite severely.
But Amy was raped.
Wait, make it about yourself.
And then Ben says, how did you cope?
Yes.
Not how did Amy cope, but how did you cope, Steve?
Yeah, maybe how did you cope is question number 5 or 6 that you
Right.
asked. But
Yes. Interestingly enough, what doesn't come up is Tim's grooming story.
does a little bit. Steve's advice is not to make it about him, and will eventually come round. Then Eva shows up and takes Ben home. But Tim's got something to say about this. Tim's got something to say about, he's probably sore from getting too many elbows in the ribs sort of thing. He said something along those lines.
Right,
That was suggesting that, or didn't quite connect the dots.
But also, Tim makes a point of, well, this is really bad because she was a teacher. Mm-hmm. For Tim, it's not the age difference that's the issue. It's the fact that she's a teacher. So he's still compartmentalizing this on his own. I did like Ben in the cab office, though.
Yeah, I like the three of them sitting chatting the week.
And Ben kind of slumped in the shitty chair.
And Steve's shitty chair.
Yeah, kind of under the
hatch.
So that Eva has to like bend way down to see him in the shitty chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I like this growing threesome.
We've already moved on from Jim. It feels.
Yeah.
That's all dealt with now. The grief.
Well, part of it has been dealt with. We still haven't revealed that Ben and Steve are brothers yet.
No, but Steve's fine now.
Yeah, Steve. Why wouldn't he be?
And that's
Jim
great.
was a shitty dad.
Megan has disappeared. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen hide nor hair of her
No, not
the
this
entire
week.
week, which is a little strange. Where is she? Why is nobody looking for her? Are the police looking for her? Because presumably...
Well, they don't have
she's
any
still under
evidence yet.
But she's still under suspicion.
Yeah.
And they've probably told her, don't be going anywhere.
Right, yeah. But also, the police don't need to share with the Driscolls where she lives.
I could see this happening, and I think we spoke about this in the spoiler alert last week, that the emphasis on Megan and Will last week, which was really, really good, and probably the best week of Coronation Street we've had this year, or close to it, that storyline was going to get dropped. I'm surprised that we had as much of it
Yeah,
as we did this week, even though nothing really substantial happened, unless you're Sam.
Right, yeah. And I thought that they handled that really well this week. I think that it makes sense that she would be laying low and not being anywhere anybody can shout at her.
I suppose. No Carl either this week. It's been weeks since we've seen Carl.
Am I complaining? No. We haven't seen an awful lot of Jody either last week. We get a little bit of Jody this week, but not an awful lot.
No. So it's just a little hard to keep in your mind that all these are sort of linked together. Because Carl has
Do
something...
you have to?
Well, Carl and Theo, they plant seed, much like they did with Ben and Carl, that, they don't get on. Mm-hmm. They've almost come to blows.
Right.
And then nothing, then sort of radio silence on the matter.
Right, yeah. Well, again, Carl knows everybody hates him, so why would he show up anywhere where people are just going to shout at him?
Because we're supposed to be building up to this stupid flash forward thing.
Well, it's not even April yet.
That's true.
Calm down.
All right, our next storyline is Bernie'd out of her Bernies. She got a little out of her Bernies this week. On Monday, Dev and Bernie step out of a taxi back to Coronation Street after their extended hollybobs. They've been away for a wee while.
Yes.
Their key
Dev's beard is coming in quite nicely.
Their key isn't in the front door when Mal appears from nowhere, welcoming them back from their hollybobs.
Has he just been lurking around the corner for like over a week, just waiting since he got out of the hospital?
Welcoming them back from their hollybobs, and now I will never ever say hollybobs again.
Which is a shame.
Dev tells him to get to fuck, which Mal thinks is rude because no one's asked him how he's doing after his vicious attack. Bernie's calmer, but suggests that he moves away. He has nothing in Weatherfield. But Mal says that he loves Weatherfield, so he'll see them later, and off he bounces.
He's so weird.
So very, very weird.
Such a weird guy. Such a weird little guy.
Bernie goes to tell Kit about Mal, but Kit's not really interested in this anymore. Bernie laments that he didn't flash his badge instead of his arms at Mal in the first place, and maybe none of this would be happening. Kit is sure he'll get bored and piss off if they just ignore him, because that's
how that works.
That's how unstable people behave, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Nina's rolls, Dev and Bernie are having lunch when Mal again appears from nowhere. I wonder if he's got Lizzie's tramp tracker. Bernie is calm, but Dev loses his rag, tells Mal to fuck off and corrals him out the door, where he gives him a slight shove in the arm. Mal acts like he's been shot, which attracts the attention of Swain, who insists that Dev is probably sorry and it'll never happen again, or else he will get charged. Fuck off, Swain.
Seriously.
Dev and Bernie storm off, leaving Mal to yell that he wants an apology. Suck my balls, shouts Dev. On Tuesday, Mal goes to the police station and tells Swain that his memories of his attack have come back, and he now remembers who did it. Kit is in Nina's rolls when he gets the message that Mal's memory has come back, and Swain calls him to come right to the station. Gulp, says Bernie. So Kit goes in, and he's halfway through starting to confess when Swain talks over him and announces that Mal is naming Dev as his attacker.
Dum dum dum.
Dev, says Kit. London, says everyone. Swain is as surprised as anyone, but that doesn't stop her from going into Dev's shop and arresting him while he's disaffecting the counter. Bernie pleads his innocence as he gets taken away. I quite liked it when Dev was getting arrested because he was just laughing at it.
Wait, as you would. Because I'm sure. Well, at this point, I was sure Dev had some sort of alibi. Like he was working in the shop.
Probably.
And there's CCTV to prove it. But that never comes up throughout this whole thing. But then again, we don't watch the questioning happen.
Oh no, Bernie went to the store and it was closed. But she was on the CCTV. So God knows where Dev was. I don't think we know where Dev was.
At the Chippy.
Must. Probably.
He's got like 8 businesses.
You know, somebody's got to earn some money to keep Asha's photos off the internet, right?
That's right.
On Wednesday, no one really believes Dev did this, least of all Swain, who is sure that Bernie's involved somehow. Gemma finds out that it was Kit What did it, as Bernie observes that she either lets her husband go down for something he didn't do, or she shops her son. It's certainly a dilemma. Dev is finally released on bail, and according to Kit, Mal's an unreliable witness, and doesn't reckon Dev will get charged with anything. Later, Bernie runs into Mal on the street, and she begs him to stop this. Mal reveals that he knows it was Kit who done it as well, and says he'll drop the whole thing in return for one night of passion with Robert Redford.
Who's dead.
That's all he wants.
Dig that man up. I'm sure he's still gorgeous.
All right then. Wake Woody Harrelson. On Thursday...
Nobody can wake Woody Harrelson if Woody Harrelson doesn't want to be woke.
So Bernie turns up at Mal's door on Thursday. He's still living at the Rape Hotel somehow. Where's he getting the money for this? Roy must have paid him well. He doesn't look like the sort of man who can live at a hotel.
But let's not forget that we really don't know anything about Mal. Except that he can fix electricity.
We see he's Electro Mal.
And that maybe he had a wife named Alice.
Yeah.
Who does get mentioned this week. The show reminds us that he supposedly is married to a woman who tried to shack up with Roy, but it didn't work. Only, I don't even think
she tried to do that. She was pleasant to him.
Right. Yeah. And that Roy took some things that she said as maybe romantic.
Because of Nina.
Right. Yeah. And also because men are stupid.
Yes, we are. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So anyway, Mal is spotted by Ryan. Inside, Mal has had a shower and put his dirty clothes back on and is disappointed to see Bernie getting wired into a cheese and onion sandwich.
Love that. That was great.
She says that she's starving and suggests that they have a few drinks. Mal is giddy with excitement until he realises why she's there and admits that she's only present under duress.
Bernie shit.
Bernie makes it clear that the only reason she's in that room is to make sure that her son doesn't lose his job or go to jail. Mal seems to think that once the pheromones kick in during their passionate lovemaking, Bernie will see that she has feelings for him after all.
That's
Fuck
not how that works.
Fuck this, says Bernie, and she calls room service for a couple of brandies for more Dutch courage. And it looks like the way that she puts the phone down was important because the camera zooms in on it like she hadn't hung up properly.
Right.
But she did.
Did she?
Yeah, the receiver was replaced in its cradle properly.
I don't know. I don't remember how those things work.
It's so difficult.
How do they even have, like, a phone in that room anymore? There's no phones in American hotels anymore, are
Yes,
there?
there is. Yes.
I've never seen one.
In this month's classics, we'll be talking a little bit about rotary phones.
Yes.
A little blast from the past there.
I do love a rotary phone.
So she calls for more Dutch courage and then she hangs up. Bernie suggests that Mal is only doing this because he's grieving his marriage.
Right.
Mal thinks that she's patronising him and it turns nasty. He calls her a stupid junkie who gives her kids stupid fucking names and all she needs is a damn good seeing to.
How does he know that Paul's name was Apollo and that Gemma's name is Gemini?
Did you tell him?
I don't remember. I don't recall her ever telling him. And also, Kit's name is Kit. So that falls apart because let's remember, Mal doesn't know that Kit was adopted. Because remember last week when he's like, well, it had to have been someone who had a terrible mother, which implies that he knows that Kit and Bernie are mother and son, but he doesn't know that Bernie didn't raise him.
Is that important?
Well, I mean, just with the whole stupid name thing.
Okay.
And also, how does he
It was
know about
Christopher,
Apollo?
wasn't it?
Kit is Christopher.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's not what Bernie named him. I'm trying to remember what Bernie named him. That his adoptive parents changed to Christopher.
Changed immediately. He was Zodiac.
Right, yes. Yes. Good job, Bernie, naming your kid after the Zodiac killer. That was smart. We found him. We found the Zodiac killer.
Do you know he looks like a Zodiac?
A zygote at the time. Oh dear. Zodiac. Why wouldn't she just choose another name from the horoscope?
Well, she chose the whole horoscope.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. For her third child.
Apollo's got nothing to do with the horoscope either.
There's an Apollo constellation in the stars.
Yeah, but there's not a sign of the Zodiac for it, like Gemini.
That's true. Technically, they should both be named Gemini.
So there's no connection. It's just stupid names.
Isn't it weird that she chose Apollo and Gemini instead of Apollo and Artemis, who were actually twins and gods? I don't know. I'm overthinking this. Continue, please.
So, just to recap, Mal has shouted that all Bernie needs is a damn good seeing to. Bernie grabs
What is that supposed to mean?
Seriously? Bernie grabs a corkscrew and brandishes it at Mal, who's about to jump her, but then Ryan X Machina bursts in and tells her to call the police and pushes Mal up against the wall. He saw everything. Mal begs her not to do so, and so she tells him to go down the station right now and retract his statement, and that's what he does. Later, Kit is at Bernie's door, confused by this development and the utter waste of police time and our time. Fuck if I know, says Bernie, and surely that now draws a veil over this whole sorry incident. Except I bet you that it doesn't.
No, because Mal still exists. And people like this don't tend to give up lightly.
No, because this is Justin Stockings all over again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pass me my guitar.
No.
Justin Stockings rides again. Again.
Yeah, but thank you for reminding us all that this isn't exactly the first stalking storyline we've had in the past 6 years.
That wasn't a mistake. Well, it wasn't fully a mistake.
Well, it wasn't our mistake. It's the show's mistake.
Yeah, because Justin Stockings never gave up.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
He fought.
Yeah.
Right to the very end.
Right. And once again, Ryan was the hero in that story as well and got acid in the face for it.
He did.
Fortunately, Mal had no acid except on his tongue.
See what they did there.
The way that like he switches personalities is creepy as fuck.
It is. It's very effective.
Yeah.
I think he delivers it pretty well.
Yeah.
He comes across as a complete psycho.
Yeah. But it still doesn't. I'm still kind of like, how did he possibly just latch onto Bernie from like that one night? But also is claiming that this is all because of his wife's infidelity with Roy, which doesn't exist, and is not trying to get back with his wife? If he's this upset that he's gonna try to sleep with Bernie over his wife's infidelities, if you miss your wife that much, go back and get your wife.
He finished with her.
Go back to Inverness.
He finished with her, and if I know Alice like I do, she's like, thank fuck for that.
Right, yeah. She's booked off to,
She's off tossing a cable somewhere.
yes, in another part of Scotland that I can't name at the moment.
Oh,
Glasgow?
Glasgow's in Scotland,
It
certainly.
is, yes. She's fucked off to Glasgow, which is a very beautiful city that I love very much.
Probably not going to toss a cable, though, in Glasgow.
No.
She might do that in Inverness.
Yeah, but
So she
she's
tossed
left
a cable
Inverness.
and then she left.
Yes.
See,
John O'Groats. That's what I was trying to think of. She's fucked off to John O'Groats.
she's fucking John O'Groats. That sounds like John. He's a player.
Him and his groats.
Sowing his wild groats, as it were.
Into his wild goats.
Ugh.
All right, I think we've taken that as far as we can.
What's it like shagging a sheep? It's no bad. Anyway.
We're shagging goats here, Gav. Keep up.
It's the same thing.
It's not.
I really wish that this was the end of it. God, I really wish that this wasn't a thing. I do enjoy Mal's performance, though. You're right. I think he does the switcheroo very well,
It's
even though he
convincing.
is very unstable when he's not aggressive.
Right.
When he has these little voices that he does to try and sound
Right,
chipper
yeah.
and
And
normal.
the way that like he acts, he's like all offended that they won't sit and share their vacation stories with him, like their long lost friends. He's like completely shocked that they don't want to have anything to do with him. It's like, oh, I'm just trying to be friendly and find out how your vacation was.
And shag
like,
their missus.
Like they're besties. Mm-hmm. It's creepy.
I was surprised when Roy wasn't more forceful in throwing Mal out, because he was there
threw
when
him-
Mal came in and was very much the aggressor in a conversation with Bernie earlier.
yeah.
So he knows what Mal's like.
Right.
And I think Bernie's told him
Yes.
that she doesn't trust him and all this sort of stuff. So I was a little bit surprised when Roy wasn't more forceful in removing Mal from Nina's roles.
Yeah. Was also a little surprised when Swain seemed to immediately take Mal's side
Oh, that was ridiculous.
as she's pushing Connie around in a pram. Mm-hmm. Do you see this guy?
She didn't see anything,
Right.
but
She's just taking Mal's word for it.
Dave basically just touched his elbow,
Right.
and that's enough for Swain to say, the next time you do that, I'm going to charge you.
For touching his elbow.
Well, any contact is assault, really, isn't it? Still, I didn't like that. It was a little bit
It was-
heavy-handed
it
and
was.
directed
I-
incorrectly when she knows Dev.
Right. She knows Dev.
She's bought many a kebab off him
Right. And also
and a bottle of Iron Brew.
cartons of milk and vegetables.
So, if anything, she should be taking Dev's side in it.
Yeah.
Just another change to Swain's character. Anyway, let's move on to Alya's boring story now. All that excitement. Time for a boring story.
It's hilarious because I completely forgot that we had some Alya boring story this week.
There's
It
not
was
very
so
much.
boring.
Nina's Rose, Alya's on the phone to another client, and by the end of the conversation, it's a former client. Thank goodness for the paedophile teacher, says Adam, otherwise we'd have no one. But then he gets a message from Annie, who wants to meet up to talk about her case for suing George for muscling into her mum's will. So they meet up at Speed Dial, where Annie reveals that she only wanted to meet face-to-face to tell Adam and Alya
To
that
fuck
she's
off.
jumping ship to a no-win, no-fee outfit. Adam can't just have a pedo in his books, so he offers no win, no fee as well. And Annie agrees to stay, but wants to grind George into the ground over this. Alya looks very uncomfortable about how this is developing. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Yeah. So not much.
Don't know that I have an awful lot more to say about that.
It's no accident, though, that of all the clients leaving, it's Annie that he convinces to stay, the one that will most affect his standing in the neighborhood.
Yes.
For bullying poor George.
Yeah, George is a hero, man.
Yeah.
All right, our next storyline, our penultimate storyline, I think, Minding Connie. On Tuesday, snafu on the baby monitor in front at number 6 as Swain's off to work and Carla has a meeting, so it's left up to Betsy to look after Connie. Swain isn't sure that she and Dylan are capable, but she's shit of options, so she has to go along with it. When Dylan arrives, he's on board with this because he'll do whatever Betsy says.
Right.
What a simp.
Hey, don't you get all red-pilled on me.
That is something that Sam is going to call him in the not-too-distant future.
Right.
The babysitting goes without incident, but as Dylan and Betsy are about to get saucy on the couch, he takes off his jumper as he must hear the door getting opened.
Right, yeah. Betsy notices that he's got some baby sick on his shirt. So he's taking off his shirt so they can wash it.
Well, not only that, so they can do some smooching.
No, but you don't need to take your shirt off to smooch.
She said, I can't be smooching you when you smell a baby sick.
Right, yeah. So he's taking it off to wash it so that the baby stuff isn't on there anymore.
I don't think that's the order of operations here.
Well, they'll
We're
throw
taking it off so we can throw it in the corner, and then I'm going
No.
to stick my tongue down your throat.
throw it in the wash and then stick my tongue down your throat. But still, none of that has happened.
Carla comes in and she's appalled that they were about to have sex in front of the BABY, and she covers Connie's eyes. No more babysitting for you, says Carla. Fine
Which
by
is
me.
Ridiculous.
Fine by me, says Betsy.
And nobody lets poor Dylan. He's like, wait, it's not what it looks like, and nobody will listen to him.
Betsy goes up the stairs, leaving Dylan to cover his erection with his jumper before Carla spies it.
And it's funny too because he's got a T-shirt on underneath it. It's just that the T-shirt kind of accidentally goes up with the jumper, and before he can pull it back down, there comes Carla to see his little man nipples.
I don't think we even see that. Well, I'm pretty sure we don't see that.
No, but you know they're there. He's
Well,
not.
of course you know that they're there. He's not an action man.
He's not Aladdin. He has nipples. Probably not Tom Holland nipples, but you know.
Oh, good God. Those monstrosities.
They're so pointy. Zendaya's a very lucky woman.
I quite liked it, though, that Dylan... Because you're not...
Because he's like this.
You're not saying, I've got a stiffy here. But when he takes his jumper and he covers his lap, you know.
But he's like, he doesn't even have the shirt even completely off. When Carla comes in, he's like this. And then he's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Dylan. He cannot catch a break.
Now, those two have had...
History.
Congress together before.
Correct.
So this isn't exactly out of the blue. It's just
No.
we never see very much of them together.
Right. And because they were like, they hooked up, but then she chose Mason. But then Mason died. And then Brody tried to horn in on the action. And Betsy said, absolutely not, creep. Get away from me. Your name's Brody. And so obviously she hooked back up with Dylan because there's nobody else left.
Yeah. On Wednesday, Carla and Swain haven't got their calendars in order vis-a-vis looking after the baby, so it's Carla who has to take her to the factory, where Connie most certainly doesn't work. Carla is a little disappointed that Swain doesn't seem to be treating their upcoming wedding seriously, as she hasn't got their invitations set out yet, which seems highly unlikely for a pair of control freaks that they aren't on top of this.
Right. That bodes well, doesn't it? Especially since the wedding is next month.
Yes. Carla thinks that they're both queens, so this deserves something a bit more extravagant than what Swain has in mind. And later, Swain walks into the factory despite not working at the factory and says that she's had a think about it and it should be nothing but the best for the pair of them. And Carla nods, like Jack Nicholson in that meme.
Yes.
Then on Thursday, it's another day, another calendar conflict as Swain has to go to work and there's been a big break on a case that she's working on. She leaves, but because they were discussing it outside, Jodie overhears, and she offers her babysitting services, claiming to have a DBS check done and 8 years experience. This is all Carla needs to hear. So when Swain comes home from work, she's shocked to see a woman she appears to not know, despite having lived next door to them for a couple of months,
Right.
in her house, making a fucking sandwich. Luckily, Carla's home immediately afterwards, and she clears the whole thing up and makes the introductions. Jodie leaves, but Swain is suspicious of her and says to Carla that it might be an idea to run those background checks after all. And I'm like, yes, man! We're going to run some background checks on Jodie. Or is that just something that Swain's saying?
Well, it's something that Swain's saying. I don't know. I don't know how background checks are run in the UK.
I think the same here, just check for criminal records and county court judgments and all that sort of fun stuff.
But there's no social security number, so how do you run it?
She's the police.
Right. Yeah, but still, there's probably other people named Jodie and whatever her last name is in the country. How do you differentiate between the two of them?
I'm sure
if
she's
you
able
don't
to
have social
narrow
security
it down.
numbers.
Well, you have national insurance numbers.
Are those used by the police?
Oh, I would imagine so.
Oh, okay.
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
Plus, you have a rough idea of her age.
Yeah, I suppose. A very rough idea. I don't know.
So
what
I think it's more. This cannot be the thing that breaks the suspension of disbelief, as if Swain is able to do some digging and find out something about.
Right. Yes,
Jodie.
unless this is a complete red herring.
And I really hope it isn't, because this is a great way for people to find out about Jodie through a babysitting background check. That's a brilliant way to find out.
Yeah, it is kind of funny though that back when they weren't sure who she was, that she was just a woman whose wrists were bound running through the woods, that when she was in the hospital and when the police questioned her, they didn't run a background check then. You'd think that they would have done that.
Well, she was the victim.
Right, yes, but they don't know who she is. And she was like out for the count for a little bit, wasn't she?
I can't remember. We didn't see very much of her in the
No.
hospital.
Yeah,
If she gave a false name or something.
right. Oh, well. Oh, well, yes.
No, if this is a way that we start to find out a little bit more about Jodie finally, I think this is a good means to do it. Just something that's so innocuous.
Right.
And if Jodie had kept her fucking mouth shut, it wouldn't be happening. Yeah, I hope this is something. I hope this isn't just a red herring for a...
A red Helen?
I know. Isn't that a funny thing to say? I said melon wagon earlier on. Remember that?
I told you.
Throw back to
I
that.
was never a member of the Communist Party.
Nobody's believing that. We'll discuss this further in our meeting down at the docks.
Shh.
The Connie stuff is still fairly cute, and I was reminded this week of a clip that I took of classic Corrie, which was Tyrone, who with Molly Dobbs was involved in a car accident in the middle of nowhere, and Tyrone runs to this little country road and he flags down a car, and it's Swain who's in the car.
Only it's not Swain.
Well, we don't know. She's not named.
Right.
It might be Swain.
Who knows?
And I said, I'd love to think that this is the incident that put Swain on a trajectory of
Becoming a
of
detective.
a police employment.
Yeah.
And Vicky Myers replied to it and complimented me on my detective work. And I said, because at this point we didn't know really much about Swain. This was before she was a permanent character. And I was like, do you have any idea of what her real name is or what her first name is? I've got it in my mind that her name is Constance. She looks like a Connie to me. Is what I said to Vicky Myers. And here's this baby. And this baby's called Connie. And Vicky Myers revealed that I think it was her grandmother. Her name was Connie.
Well, that's creepy. How did you know what you are mentally bonded to Vicky Myers so that you would know that her grandmother's name was Connie?
Yeah, everybody's grandmother's name's Connie.
The Does the name Connie mean anything to you, Vicky?
And if not, Betty.
Betty.
Or Mary loves Dick.
Yes. Mary does love Dick.
Dick.
Yeah, I can't
Say
do
it
that.
scousely.
I can't do that with my mouth. I'm sorry.
Try a bit of Dick with your mouth. Oh well.
Oh, well.
Can't blame a lad for trying. You can't say Dick.
No. Yeah. I don't have enough phlegm in my mouth.
I have no phlegm in my mouth.
You've got a little phlegm in your mouth. Yeah, back there. I can hear it bubbling when you do that.
Interesting little coincidence.
Yeah.
From a little conversation from a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
Right. Connie does seem like an old name to tag a baby with. I almost feel like Constance would be better. Call her the whole thing.
She probably is a Constance and they just
Right.
shorten it to Connie. These things are cyclical, aren't they? They all always come back round again. I think it's a lovely name.
Yeah, I think the full name is lovely. I think Connie makes me think of, a secretary in 1985 with like hair out to here.
Oh. Helen is indicating wide hair.
Wide wings, a big perm, and shoulder pads.
Oh, like out of Dallas or Dynasty or something.
Right, or Tootsie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we setting up a teen pregnancy storyline here for Betsy?
I hope not.
When was the last time we had a teen pregnancy?
Lauren?
All right, the time before that then.
Amy?
All right then. I agree. I hope that they're not. I have a horrible feeling that they are.
Dylan didn't even take his shirt off
No,
yet.
not yet. But when those Tom Holland nipples come out, Betsy's going to...
No, we said he doesn't have Tom Holland nipples. They're normal and flat.
We don't know that.
Perfect pepperonis.
We don't know that. They could be much worse than Tom Holland's.
Don't think they get much worse than Tom Holland's.
They could come out further. It's possible.
My sister dated a guy with Tom Holland nipples, and if you think they're bad on the screen, you should see them in real life.
Yeesh. Anyway, I think if we were going with this as a becoming a more physical relationship than perhaps it was.
But they've already had sex. They had sex like a year ago. So maybe they're just young people who like to have sex. Does it always have to be a morality play on the show?
Yeah. This is what they do.
It's 2026.
This is what they do.
It's 2026. I think it's time to put the morality play of don't have sex, young ladies, or else you're going to get pregnant can be put to bed.
Or killed by a psychopath in the woods. All right, we'll move on to our last storyline then, which is Theo No Sleeves. This is obviously the main storyline of the week.
Boo!
And I think I was booing an awful lot through this.
Me too.
But it finished on a little bit of hope. On Monday, Todd has managed to sleep through the night on the couch somehow and looks unlikely to wake soon, if only someone were to knock on his door. But Theo is standing guard outside to prevent that from happening. At the tram stop, there's a good luck party consisting of Sarah, Chesney, Gemma, and some wee boy who's made a sign.
Who has fond memories of soft play.
This is Harry 3.0.
Soft play.
James is worried that Todd's going to miss his slot, but then along comes Theo, who
But
says...
not like that.
He says he was banging Todd's door like a madman.
But not like that.
And no response. And now he thinks about it. Didn't Todd say he would meet everyone at the start line? So off they all fuck. Todd finally wakes up at 10:30. Too late for anything. By the time he heads out to the shop, everyone's coming home, wondering where the fuck he got to. James sees him and shouts at them, but Todd runs back to the flat.
Like
Theo,
a fanny.
Theo, resplendent with his medal, nominates himself as the one to go after him and goes to the flat.
It looks like a participation medal.
He hasn't won anything.
No, it's just a little participation. Why doesn't James have a participation medal?
I don't know if he was running it.
I thought he was. I thought for sure he was. I thought he was training as well for it. You know what? James placed. So he's got a trophy that he's already dropped off at home. That's the storyline that I'm sticking to.
So this reminded me of my former boss Audrey in the UK who ran marathons. And she always said, and by the way, marathons in UK always on a Sunday. This was on a Monday when people have got work. People have got to drive down the streets that people close off.
Close off for these things, yeah.
So, very strange. Especially when it's on this Sunday, when they could have done it on this Sunday.
I was about ready to say, they should have waited and done it this Sunday. Then it would make sense.
But Audrey always said, and Audrey isn't Theo,
No.
but Audrey always said, after she finished running a marathon, she couldn't climb the stairs.
Yeah.
She had to sleep downstairs the night after it because her legs just didn't work anymore.
Right.
She was, to use her words, fucked. She said her arse was broken, her legs were broken. She was just pain.
Uh-huh.
Here's Theo striding down the street.
And James.
With we don't know if James did it. With a little spring in his step, running after Todd, looking like he's just woken up, basically. Fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as a daisy.
And that's not the only activity that he'll be getting up to.
Oh, don't even start with me. Yeah, and initially James was going to be the one to run over, and Theo's like, no. Let me. Which is weird because you would think somebody would say, hey, didn't you guys just break up? Maybe it should be somebody he hasn't just broken up with to go and talk to him. Like, I don't know, his best friend Sarah or
that wee boy with a sign.
Or daughter Summer, you know?
Todd is inconsolable, thinking that he's let everyone down, and he can't understand how he managed to switch off his alarms. Like that last time that this happened.
All 5 of them.
Theo recounts a story of his own failures and reckons it was Todd's body who insisted that he wasn't ready and so prevented them. Theo manages to talk Todd into showing face at the pub later, and the official line is that he got the shits after a dodgy curry the night before. He apologises for letting everyone down, but no one really gives a fuck apart from that wee boy who's heartbroken for some reason.
Because he didn't get to show him his sign.
So? Theo gives Todd his medal, saying, you deserve this more than I do.
My little participation medal.
Later, Todd's getting wired into the pints, forgetting he's supposed to have diarrhea. George has a word saying it's nice seeing him and Theo getting on so well, and he's glad that they're friends. But he hopes that that's all it'll be. Todd insists that ship has sailed, but later, when Summer returns the medal to Todd's that Todd had left in the bar, she's basically walking in on the two of them getting her hole. Embarrassed, she hurries off, but Theo finds it funny, saying that she was going to find out they were back together again sooner or later. Todd is shocked at the phrase back together, but Theo says he's a changed man and he's sorry and he loves Todd. And after a pause, Todd says that he loves him too, and they get right back at it. Theo's run a marathon today. Where is this fucking energy coming from?
Seriously. Even if he was like in peak physical condition and can walk sort of after the marathon, sex seems like a bridge too far.
A couple of bouts off it.
Yeah, because
he's on some of those love drugs.
You mean hoppers? Not hoppers, poppers.
No, they make your bum holes. I don't know the specifics, Helen. I don't want to get into it.
Wait a second. It kind of sounds like you do know the specifics.
Well, I know what poppers do. They also make your heart race.
Yes. Apologies to the current Disney Pixar movie, Hoppers. I didn't mean to imply that it was about drugs for gay sex.
And apologies to anyone who goes to the movies expecting something different.
Although there is a beaver involved.
On Tuesday, Todd is full of spunk today and has brought Garibaldi biscuits to work and has some fresh ideas for the social media campaign. Christina is glad that he has
The way that you say Garibaldi makes it sound like you're saying Gary's a baldy.
Gary's a baldy biscuits.
It's like, wait,
he's got hair.
What happened to Gary's hair? Gary's baldy now?
Christina is glad that he has his sparkle back, but then in comes Theo with coffees and asking Todd if he's told them yet. Clearly he hasn't, so he announces that he and Theo are back together. And there's this enormous pause.
There is.
Oh, says George. That's nice, says Christina. Privately,
nobody tells their faces.
Privately, George tells Todd that he's not sure about this, that he and Theo were split up for a reason, and he's worried that he's rushing back into it. And Todd says, yeah, we split up because Theo broke it off. But why did he break it off,
Right.
Todd?
Yeah.
And what did Billy tell you about Theo,
Right.
Todd? And why aren't you remembering any of this?
Todd.
And why am I blaming you for this?
Todd.
We're meant to think this, though, right? This is what they're hoping us to, that we think.
And, it makes us terrible people because not once did we ever blame Yasmin.
No. But Todd can't be dissuaded and tells George to suck in his balls. Back at the flat, Todd describes this interaction to Theo, who decides to go and have a word, promising to be nice and to invite George and Christina to lunch. So he does that and hopes that they can be all closer given how much Todd loves George and tolerates Christina. So the two of them agree. The lunch goes well, but Christina isn't quick to give her approval.
It doesn't go well, though, because it kind of seems like George and Christina are there under duress.
Well, probably. Saying that Todd was beginning to move on. Theo poo-poos Raymond, saying that Todd found him to be a wet fish, but he admits that he's been carrying a lot of trauma and he took that out on Todd in the past, and he promises that this is all behind him and he's focused on making Todd as happy as he can. George and Christina look more satisfied, but when Theo nips off for a shite, they are still very much against it,
Yes.
but know that they have to keep their feelings to themselves or they'll
Correct.
push Todd away. Todd arrives and Theo is deplorable with him at the table, which
Ugh.
attracts Gary's attention. Theo happily announces to Gary that they're back together again. At the bar, Theo talks to Gary privately. Gary says it's a shame that they cancelled the wedding, which was due to be tomorrow. Theo announces that he didn't cancel the registry office, and he intends to surprise Todd. From tomorrow, Todd will be his forever, and Gary is so shocked that his hair falls out.
And then he really is Gary Baldy.
On Wednesday, Theo has a surprise for Todd, and despite mentioning that they were supposed to get married today, he comes out and says it. Todd can't figure out what that surprise is, so after arranging time off, Theo turns up at the Undertaker's all suited and booted.
Right, which does not raise any red
Nope.
flags for Todd or George.
And takes Todd off. Then at some point blindfolds him
Yeah.
and takes the blindfold off at the registry office, which somehow isn't a red flag
They
to
bought
anyone present.
They've bought the Rovers.
Yeah,
That would be better.
it would be better. But the registrar doesn't care that this person has been led in
Like
blindfolded.
And Gary and Maria think this is the cutest thing ever. You'd think Maria at least would be like, wait a second. Shouldn't your family be here?
I said this last week about Gary and Maria. I'm thinking terribly of the pair of them, thanks to this.
Yeah. And again, Maria especially should be seeing these red flags. But she thinks it's adorable.
The registrar is dreadful at his job and feeds Theo the declaration in a weird cadence while his assistant stands and files her nails, the international sign for boredom. Theo's vows are mostly roller coaster themed and sound vaguely threatening all the way through until he ends on, "Scream if you want to go faster." Todd says that he can't do
Yikes.
this, then says, "Oh no, it's the vows that I can't do because he hasn't prepared anything because he didn't know
Hey.
that this was happening."
Hey, remember that science fiction novel that we both read a couple years ago about the dying children that they put on roller coasters to kill them because they're dying already? And it's a fun form of euthanasia. Do you remember that?
I can't remember what it was called. How High We Go in the Dark or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder why I thought of that while Theo talks about roller coasters. And scream if you want to go faster.
It is called How High We
You
Go in
would
the
go in the
Dark.
dark, yes.
Look at me remembering things.
I recall reading that in that Native American casino that we were sitting in while we waited for our new rental car to show up because the hybrid one that we had died in the middle of the desert.
Thankfully, at the top of a hill
Yes.
that we were able to roll down into the town of Peyton,
Right,
Arizona.
yes. And into the parking lot of a Native American casino.
How High We Go in the Dark. That was a good book.
That was a good book. Everybody go read that book.
That's tough going though.
Yeah, because children die on a roller coaster. And other stuff.
Todd says it can't. I don't know, say that. He makes something up on the fly, and in no time at all, they're declared husband and husband. And when Maria takes a photo, we spot that half of Todd's shirt's hanging out. Back at the Rovers, after Maria shuts everyone the fuck up, George and Summer and Sarah are shocked to hear Todd and Theo being announced as husband and husband.
Yeah, and nobody claps. Or they barely clap. They do like the...
Well,
while looking at one another saying, what?
didn't they just break up? Well, people enjoy
Isn't
free
Todd
booze.
my dad? The only one who's alive?
George tells Summer and then Christina about his reservations about all this and how the people who matter weren't in attendance. Thanks to Christina, a version of this gets back to Theo, who's fucking furious that George disapproves. George says, I didn't say that, and then clears it up by saying that he would have liked to have been invited. And Summer agrees, and so does Sarah, and so does that wee boy.
Right, yes. And Theo's argument is like, well, my kids weren't there either. It's like, because your kids hate you.
But Theo says the most important people were there, him and Todd, and no one else matters. Sorry, Gary and Maria.
Right.
In a booth later, Theo gives Todd a hard time, telling him that it looked like a disgrace in the photo with his shirt hanging out, but that was just bants, though. On Wednesday, married life has got off to a shaky start for Todd. He's red raw, and the flat is stinking of ammonia from the last bout of hole-getting that he and Theo have had after some more of that.
Why do you know what that smells like?
What semen smells like? Yeah, how would I know that? It seems that he's also back to ripping the piss out of Todd for being a porker, which Todd snidely thinks is bants, but Theo says, no, it's just a fact, when Todd's headache prevents him from more sex time.
Right, yeah.
Theo goes off for a run. While he's out, George comes over to visit, concerned about the surprise wedding from yesterday. Todd lets him in and pops a kettle on, and some time passes, and then Theo comes home and sees the bathroom doors shut. Thinking that Todd's nipped off for a shite, he starts getting laid into him, oinking like a pig through the door, calling Todd a joyless piece of shit, telling him this old frigid maiden routine isn't becoming, and then Todd comes into the
Frigid
flat
bride.
after popping out for the tea bags, and it's George who comes out of the bathroom after nipping off for a shite.
Oops.
Theo nervously laughs it off, calling it banter, and saying to Todd that he was tearing a strip off him, but just for lols.
Just for the lulz.
Todd looks shocked and George is appalled. Todd backs Theo up, saying it is just banter. Once more with feeling, says Theo, and George fucking snaps. Don't you tell him what to say.
Yeah, don't you tell him what to do.
He tells
How dare
Todd
you.
there's always room for him at his place if he needs it, and then leaves for an
Let's
appointment.
not forget, Todd, I have a giant fucking house that nobody lives in.
And I'm currently living in your mum's house.
Right.
That I guess you're still allowed to come into.
Right, yes. That's the funny part of there's always room at my house, which is technically your house.
Yes. Theo sarcastically applauds Todd after George has left. At the Undertaker's, George tells this to Summer, who is super upset. Why would Todd marry Theo if he's such a prick? And George thinks that it wasn't a wedding, it was a kidnapping.
Yeah.
And when he thinks about how Todd's changed over the last few months, it makes sense, and he worries that Theo has been violent to him. He reckons that they need to do everything in their power to get Todd away from that monster. Back at the flat, Theo is fixating on George, saying that he never understood bants and has always had it in for Theo right from the start. Todd doesn't want to talk about George and sends Theo to the bedroom for more sex after all. Before Todd joins him, he gets a message from George telling him that he's worried about him, telling him that he's not safe with Theo, and he's got a bed made up for him. Todd goes into the bedroom anyway. And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Oh. Now, foolishly, when we talked about this last week in Spoiler Alert, because of the fact that in the spoilers there's this whole Theo shouting at the bathroom door, but it's really George inside, I took that to mean that Todd declined this marriage.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting, because his face, if you look at his face is like, I have to get out of here now. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. And they get married. To which point, at the point that happened, I texted you and said, so I guess that means Theo's the one who dies.
Oh. Was that what triggered that?
Right, yes. Because how else is Todd getting out of this marriage?
Well, I don't think he's divorced from Danielle.
I don't think that they could have registered for that marriage if he was still at that time married to Danielle.
I don't know what checks they actually do.
I would imagine that they would be a little bit more thorough than, sure, here you go. I mean, I know blood tests aren't a thing anymore, but you'd think that there would be some sort of checking to show that they're both free to marry.
I don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised if Danielle shows up to make all this clear to people.
So she's showing up for something. Mm-hmm. And it's not just to call Sarah a slag.
Although she probably will do that too.
Yes, because why not?
From a moving vehicle.
Yes.
If they are married, then I think, yes, this is probably the easiest way to get out of this is bumping Theo off. But I don't think... I'm still convinced that it's going to be Maggie killing Megan. And maybe Theo dies at a later point. Or maybe vice versa.
Or an earlier point.
Or vice versa, who knows.
Or maybe it's Gary who's
It's
going
not at an earlier point because we see him on the day of
the day of the fireworks. Mm-hmm. They're all there under the fireworks.
Yep. And I think, is Theo cut in some way? I think he's got some cut to his head.
Right, yes. They're all standing...
Megan's bleeding.
What I imagine, what I would like to happen, is they're all in a circle looking up at the fireworks. And when the fireworks end, they all draw guns and shoot one another.
Yeah, that's the...
Fingers crossed.
Reservoir Dogs meme that I made.
Oh, did you make a Reservoir Dogs meme?
Yes, I did.
Because I'm not on Twitter.
I didn't post on Twitter. Well, I did post on Twitter,
And
but I posted it on Blue Sky.
I gave up Blue Sky for Lent, remember?
Oh, well.
You'll have to wait until next Sunday. Then I will see all of the great things that Blue Sky has done in between.
So many gifts for you.
You know what's funny? I have kind of missed Blue Sky, have not missed Instagram at all. Because I gave up Instagram as well. I kind of miss Blue Sky because there's people that I talk to only on Blue Sky.
Huh. Oh, but how I cheered when George walked out of the bathroom.
Right, yes. And the way George says, don't you tell him what to say.
Mm-hmm. That was brilliant.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
And George isn't scared to stand up to this guy.
No, because he's like a foot taller than him.
Right, and probably got 100 pounds on him as well.
There's one person who can stare down Theo, and that's George.
Yeah.
Nobody else is big enough.
It's so insidious, though, already how Theo's trying to turn Todd against George by, maybe we should just stay clear of them after all the work that Theo did to get Todd his job back and stuff.
Right, and to get George and Christina on sides.
Take a
And the way
pick
that
a side here.
the way that he just quickly starts laughing, like, oh ho ho ho, oh that was all just a joke, ha 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 ha, and George is having none of it.
No, they're both just staring at him.
The fact that it's like the whole frigid bride thing that Theo latches on to, and not the porker stuff, is interesting to me.
Oh, that George latches onto?
No, and Theo, because Theo's like, oh, that whole frigid bride stuff, tell him it's just, neither one of them talk about the whole porker thing, which I think is far more offensive than the frigid bride thing.
Yeah. He's been going on about Todd's supposedly fluctuating...
Wait.
Like, from the start.
Yeah.
Now, I think I know the answer to this, because I've seen so many people saying that they don't understand this, and I've seen so many people who have been in relationships that have been like this, or they know people who've been in relationships like this, and this is what coercive control looks like. That even when you're in that very scenario, where it is so obvious to anybody around about you that this is just a poisonous, toxic relationship, you still go back to it and you still defend the person. So even though I know that that's the case and that there's enough testimony from people to prove it, that it's not just, nobody's just making this up. This is how it presents itself.
Right.
It's still so very hard to square in your head when you're watching it and you're thinking, the Todd from a year ago would have dumped him long before it got to this stage. But it's, I don't know, maybe it started off that he was so long not in a relationship and finally having someone who was paying him attention and someone who looked like he needed a bit of fixing as well, because he was a sort of broken person who wasn't necessarily comfortable in his own skin, and maybe there was work to be done there, and maybe sort of project stuff develops and it evolves into something that's far more troubling, and by that point you're almost brainwashed.
Yeah, well, you hear this sort of thing over and over and over again. It makes you believe that you aren't worth anything else, that this is all you can get, that this is the best it is, that you can't leave this person because nobody else will ever love you.
Right. And I think I get it at the end where he initiates sex with Theo at the end, but I think he does that just to get him to shut up and stop talking about George.
Right. Yeah. And that's part of it too. You figure out ways to stop the argument.
Right. Because the way the arguments go is usually I end up getting hurt. So I will stop that argument.
Right.
No matter.
By conceding
no matter
to sex.
Super sad.
Yes.
Difficult to watch though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
I didn't quite have to skim through it this week. Like it wasn't like in previous weeks where there has been moments where I've had to skip to the end of the scene just to see how it ends, and then I can go back and watch the whole thing. It's the uncertainty of what's going to happen here and how bad is it going to get. And if I know how it's going to end, well, it makes it easier to deal with what comes in between. So it wasn't quite as bad as that, but it was very close to it.
No, this is not something that I had to avoid eye contact with.
And especially the stuff on Monday with the marathon and missing out on that. And you think, well, so what? You've raised the money. As everyone said to him, you've raised the money.
You raised the money anyway. They get the money anyway. Mm-hmm. You haven't let anybody down.
And you can run a marathon tomorrow if you want to. You're going to have to.
Not in Manchester, though.
No, you're going to have to figure the traffic situation out for yourself. But everyone had to do that because it was a Monday. So we had to stop at a red man and wait for the green man before we could cross and stuff.
You have to go to Inverness.
Right.
I'm sure there's a marathon there.
All right, well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
It's either Ryan being Bernie's hero.
Ryan Ex Machina.
Or George being Todd's hero. Or
George Ex Machina.
Or maybe it's both. Heroic men.
I didn't think that George was quite as Ex Machina as Ryan was, although we did see Ryan viewing this.
Ryan was aware that it was going on.
Mm-hmm. I think if they'd showed you the phone being off the hook, it would have made a little more sense why Ryan just suddenly burst into the room.
Do you think these young people writing this show know how a phone works?
Some of these people aren't so young.
Right, that's the joke.
Well, take your pick.
Can we give it to both?
No, that's a moment of the week. It's not moments of the week.
All right, let's give it to Ryan, because I wanna hold on to George for a future moment of the week.
George got a moment of the week fairly recently, I think.
Yes. Let's give it to Ryan. Ryan hasn't gotten moment of the week in a while.
That's it.
Moment of the week.
Boring moment of the week.
Is it Sam telling Tyrone he needs to be vigilant?
Can I say that again? Got to my little while to figure out what it was you said.
Is it Sam telling Tyrone he has to be vigilant?
I found that oddly amusing.
Or terrifying.
Well, both, but the fact that just... And I know that he hasn't, but in my head, it's all Sam says now.
See, this was so much easier when I watched the whole show in one day. It's tougher now that I watch it on the daily or every other daily. Because then the boring moments don't stick quite so much. Is it Carla telling Lisa that Connie was at a sewing machine?
Our feet can't reach the pedals.
Her feet kept... See, I kind of felt that funny.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get much of Daniel this week.
No, nothing.
And he
that
wasn't
was
really boring.
It really was Adam and Alya, wasn't it?
We gave Adam and Alya a boring moment of the week last week.
We give Ken or Daniel boring moment of the week for months without interruption.
Wait. Chesney was in the show this week.
He was.
What did Chesney do?
Oh, he said something inappropriate, didn't he?
He did. That's our boring moment of the week because we can't remember what it was. But Chesney being inappropriate is our...
boring moment of the week.
So we're basically giving it
Thank
to
you,
Chesney
Chesney.
because he was Chesney. And because he was on the show.
Right.
He said something and then Gemma
Like,
shut him up.
elbowed him, saying, shut the fuck up, man.
I can't remember what it
It was about the marathon. Because they were there having a pint after the marathon. Which is also hilarious. Theo runs a marathon and then sits in the Rovers and has a pint.
And Todd's got diarrhea and he's doing the same.
Yeah.
Neither one of them should be drinking pints. Anyway.
He's got to stay hydrated.
Which alcohol famously does.
Yay!
Thoughts on the shortened week of Corrie from our Twitter followers who rank it either yay, meh or zzz. I was late posting this, so we don't have very much interaction on it, but zzz was 18.5%, meh was 40.7%, and yay was also 40.7%. Kate said, shorter than ever for me as I have to fast forward through any bits with Mal, Theo or Shona's sister in, which I think means just leaves you with Adam and Alya.
Oops.
Also, Carl Webster, but he's mercifully absent recently, can get through a whole week's worth in less than 30 minutes. We don't need this many supervillains in one soap. I tend to agree, Kate.
Yes.
We don't let those views or scores influence, though. Our scores out of 10, Helen, so tell me, what are you giving the show this week?
6.5.
I'm going to give it a 6. I didn't think it was as good as
decent.
last week, but
No.
it was still decent.
Yeah.
High meh,
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
All right, we will wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Vaughan, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara, Jay, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine O'Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marsh JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Montero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Roll, Ozzy Ali,
Oi.
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Matt Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Marner and David MacArthur. Thank you ever so much, folks, for your support. We very much appreciate it. If you've ever ran a marathon, write in to tell us about
And then
it.
drank a pint.
We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in April's classics we're going to be talking about episodes 2304 and 2305. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com or in the description of this episode. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Go see Project Hail Mary on the biggest screen you can.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.